to, was to come up on a hangout, then I would dress the same thing. You see, you don't really like. I don't like talking behind people's backs. I
Yeah.
don't do things like that. You know, I'll say it to their face on the talk, or whatever. But anyway, let's go. So what's the topic?
Yeah, I think we'll keep talking about that. You know, we'll,
Oh,
you know,
bro,
I've,
go on.
you know, I, the thing that I've been noticing is like, I just did a video on it. Actually, it's going to be coming on. Is the fact that we're not hearing anything in the discussion about females. You know, that you never hear any discussions about how females are a problem and how females are creepy and females are a problem. You know, like we never hear stories about how little boys that are unaccompanied shouldn't be sat down next to females. That's only women. You know, we never hear anything about, you know, like female to male transgender women that are men that go into male bathrooms. We never hear anything about stuff like that. And when we hear about these stories, like they did on the TYT, where they were talking about teens starting to do more surgeries on their vaginas to try to make them look like they don't have meat hangers, you know, or pussy lips that are really long, you
Meat
know.
curtains.
Yeah, meat curtains, you know, so that they don't look like their pussy lips are dragging on the ground. These girls, these girls are doing this of their own free will. You know, they're doing this because they think it will make them more attractive to other men. But you're what I've said in my video that I did today is that when you're doing this to little boys, this is part of a systemic problem where you're basically doing this for two reasons. You're doing this because you're trying to make your son sexy or more attractive to females in the future. There's no other reason to do this. Most women don't want to date men that are uncircumcised. A lot of girls say it's gross. They don't want to like give them head, things like that. So they don't want to hang out with a guy that's not circumcised. So men know this, and they know that if they want their son in a future to be um, married and have children and have a good life, that they have to circumcise their children. So they're mutilating their child so that in their future life, they're going to be attractive to a female. And nobody seems to find this to be a problem. And the second problem that you're going to have with this is they actually sell the foreskins. There's cells that they use in the foreskins to make female face creams that they use to keep older women's face looking younger, women that have already hit the wall. You know, they use these facial creams, and one foreskin can make as much as $100,000. So there's a lot more going on here than just chopping up a boy's genitals for the attractiveness of a woman later, you know. And none of this stuff is talked about when we start talking about uh, women. You know, women are always the problem. You know, we talk about female genital mutilation, but I don't hear about that happening in the United States. Yet over 100,000 boys are mutilated every day in the United States, and we don't. That's not a problem.
Well, of course, that just goes to show that, whatever a woman has, usually a man makes it.
Yeah, yeah. We're using our little
And
baby foreskins to make the women look younger, so they can not look like they hit the wall.
well, I mean, I'd like you to, if you can find that article or the information, because I'm very interested in looking at that. And number two, I'd like to, welcome Optimus Christ. It seems he is risen from the dead. And it's nice to have you on because I don't know if any of you guys heard one of the videos I did 2 weeks ago called "She Can't Handle My Penis," and it was, as I said in the description, it was inspired by both of you because this is fundamentally a lot of the things that a lot of people are missing out of when they're speaking about matters of circumcision. Women now, when we talk about the feminist movement or they're part and parcel of this, when
Or the
they
AIDS
say anything,
movement.
Exactly. When they say anything concerning men, we know that it's not objective. We know it's subjective. We know it's a distraction. Because if women now are going under the knife, as you said, and I've seen this, as you said, doing it by their own volition, you cannot compare that with a boy that had no choice. There is no comparison. And yet again, a lot of men, a few of my friends have sons, and they have circumcised their sons. If I was to ever ask them, why? What is the thing behind this? Is to keep it clean, is to make it look good. For who exactly? Who's it going to look good for? Well, it's got to be a woman, because they presume that, their son is going to be a heterosexual male, and they want to toe the line for women. And that's very important. And if anybody does not see that there's a high correlation with that, then, well, there's no point in having a discussion with them, because they're biased.
I'm putting the links in the side chat. Apparently, Oprah has a face cream that has male foreskins in it as well.
God Almighty.
You know how she likes men all over her face.
Yep. Well, there's a couple of things that went on here. There's a woman here in Japan that a lot of people have said came out publicly and said she actually collects male sperm because she likes to put it on her face because she thinks it keeps her face looking young, and it makes her.
Hold on, let me go rub one off real quick and sell it to her.
Yeah, well, she actually keeps it in her refrigerator. And there's another woman that said what keeps her looking young, and she's in her 70s or 80s now, but she said this like many years ago on TV back in the 90s. She was saying that what keeps her young is drinking sperm. So she would actually pay men.
The plasma.
Sperm.
Of course, and funny you should say this. I've had, when I used to date a lot of these women, having conversations with them, I used to say, you should have my sperm in your face. You should have it on your face. You should rub it on your skin like ointment, because it has special properties. These women thought I was taking a piss, but I got this information because I studied it slightly. And other women that used to tell me this, grown women used to tell me, yeah, I use sperm for this, for cuts, for bruises. I keep it refrigerated. And I interviewed a female friend of mine, and I asked her this question. But yet again, a lot of the people don't see this. This is making a lot of money for women and companies that are, participating in this. Do people take this into account? No.
Yeah. Well, like what it says on this one that I just put on there, Oprah's Magic Fountain of Youth Skin Cream. It derives from baby foreskins and pissing off men who miss theirs.
Well. It's good. It's good that this is all coming out. But yet again, I'm sure that the deniers, the fact. I mean. Anyway, it's not much to say about it. So, Optimus, you want to say something?
Do you really want me to say something?
Of course. Of course. Say something. Let it all out, dude. Let it all out.
See now, if feminists ever get light of this, they'll be like, we demand it so that way our health, our lifestyle will be healthier. Basically, now they'll be demanding sex and justifying it because they're AIDS. And if you look at it, feminism is basically AIDS. AIDS strips down the fundamental building blocks of the immune system. The immune system of society today was what? Generation X, the baby boomers and all that stuff? The older generation, okay? Now, millennials, AIDS. They're stripping away the foundation of what society is to placate themselves for a safe space. They want all the perks of society, but they don't want to put the work in.
And it's funny that you should say that, because, dovetailing it to the fact that men will slave and labor and die. Now, little boys Yet again, they'll get circumcised. They'll put their, materials of their foreskin into creams. Yet again, sacrificing for the upliftment of women. Oof. This is a travesty. God Almighty. This is an abomination. And
they
yet
don't see
again,
it that way. They'll never see it that way. That's the thing. They never see the fact that they're literally fucking with little boys' life. They don't see it that way. They never will. It's never a problem unless it's a woman.
and the worst thing about all of this stuff is, the worst thing about all of it is the fact that they can't recognize, pay homage. Pay homage. Pay homage. That's what it is. Pay homage.
You know what? We get the fact that you need all this shit, that you want it, but yet you're gonna degrade men just to get it. No, fuck you. Fuck you and the ground you walk on, bitch. I mean, you don't even deserve my cock to be in your mouth, much less on your face, okay? Just shut the fuck up.
Exactly. These women have been allowed to get away with this stuff for far too long. It needs to stop.
It's too much. It's too much now. It's just too much. It's gotten to the point where I can even see amongst some of the guys I speak to, they're starting to see it. I'm bombarding them with my videos. I'm bombarding them with information I get from MGTOW. Bombardment. Even the women, I'm bombarding them with it. Because we are part of a human collective. We all have to take responsibility. If you don't want to take responsibility, then you'll be extricated from the fucking field. You'll be removed because you're not adding value. If someone else adds value, just like the conversation that we're having is a three-way thing. We are all adding value. Someone that doesn't want to come and add value, get the hell out. You're not welcome because you can't even appreciate the positions of the game. This is sad.
Yeah, and they want to act like it's not ever a problem unless we're talking about women. And as soon as you say anything that is detrimental to what their idea is of a woman, how dare you? How dare you make it seem like there's something wrong with women? It's only men.
You see, look. Fundamentally, there's nothing wrong with an idea. The only time an idea becomes corrosive and dangerous is when it transforms into a physical, i.e., foreskin of a child, i.e., putting it into a cream. I want someone to forward me information of the benefits of these women's beef burgers being cut off and that put into a cream. I want people to forward information of this. It's becoming detrimental when lives are being lost. And if the lives of men or little boys in comparison to women is being lost, then we can say there's a fucking problem. And if you don't want to, this is why I tell a lot of guys on my channel, and I've said this to both you guys, always qualify these women every single day. If they can't bring anything to the table, off with her head. Off with her head.
And even if they let me pause you right there. Even if they can bring something to the table, for so many years we men been learning to do it on our own. We don't need them to bring anything to the table. Fuck them.
Yes, you're right. You're right. You're right about that. You're right about that. You're right about that.
We were designed to complement each other, yet when one cuts away from the other, we're forced to adapt, which is what men are good at. So guess what, ladies? You just lost out on a fucking lifetime.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I mean, was it you, Shi-Nu, that sent a video of this film that's coming out? This, it's basically a film it's coming out sometime this year. That is a world where men are not allowed to talk to women, or there's only the youngest man in the world is 37. It was quite a bizarre film, and I sent it to a lot of people. It's basically showing what's happening right now and to the levels that it could really get worse. It's a bizarre film. It's a very bizarre film. It shows you how society is playing into this whole idea that men are less equal than women. Whenever a woman says, a woman can do it better than a man, I just think, in what way exactly?
Yeah, exactly.
In what way exactly? Even coming off topic slightly, I was berating a few women the other day. I was giving them a call to say, what's happened to your high priestess Beyonce? What's happened to her? Supposedly she's coming out with a whole album talking about how Jay-Z was cheating on her. And I say this to women, the best amongst you, she's not shit.
Yeah.
She's not shit. Her pussy couldn't even keep a guy. If her pussy couldn't keep a guy, what is your pussy saying? Because by your admission, supposedly they have a monument to Beyonce in Texas. By your admission, she's the best. She's the queen bee. She's the top of the pile. And her pussy couldn't keep a man. All of these women, they have a fundamental problem. They've over, speculated on their market value. Now we're seeing in Europe and all parts of the world, the countries are having to put prostitution on their gross domestic produce. Women are having to have sex with men just for a fucking sandwich.
Yeah.
Not even money.
Or for a cab ride.
A cab ride. Even my mother, she's 64, 5. She's calling me, telling me she's hearing stories of this is happening in France.
Yep.
I mean, God Almighty, behave yourselves. People have got to start behaving themselves. We're all in it together. There's no need for division. If someone doesn't like what I say, that's fine. You might not like the way I say it, but is it factually correct? Yes.
The thing about me is that what they don't understand is that they still think that we need them.
Yeah.
We don't. Okay, now, what they also don't understand is that, yeah, women might bitch and complain. However, you piss off enough men, oh, hell will seem like a vacation. That's what they don't get.
Yeah, I mean, guys can make your life a living hell. Like my ex-wife used to think it was fun to keep sex from me, till she realized, like, when we got in a fight and we wouldn't talk, I didn't give a shit, and I wouldn't talk to her for a week. I didn't give a fuck, and she was always the first one to say something to me, because if it was up to me, I wouldn't say anything to her ever again. And they start to realize, like, if you fucking piss off a guy, good luck with ever getting anything from them. And that's where they're headed. That's where they're headed.
Oh, they're already there.
It's
just
exactly.
that the guys don't fucking realize what they're going through yet.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. This is already ground zero. A lot of people are just like, I've always said it, MGTOW is not a new thing. The word possibly is. But it's like men have been doing it in droves for time. I mean, for crying out loud, I was watching one of CS MGTOW's videos, and I already knew this. In Islamic countries, the rate of marriages are depleting now, to the point where people are starting to celebrate their divorces, spending thousands, an insane situation, an insane idea. That you spend thousands to get married. Now you're not getting married. You're spending thousands on a divorce party. So it was a situation where we're at ground zero.
Spend money on that.
So
yeah, but the thing is, exactly. But the thing is, we're at ground zero where there's one side of the party here that have the power, and we're talking about labor. The other side of the party doesn't have that. Women. They're not built for this. So what will happen is, going forwards, if you cannot add to what's happening here, and if you think that at the long run you're gonna benefit, you're sadly mistaken.
The thing is, now, back in the day, it was just, can you cook, can you clean, can you take care of the kids? Now, it's gonna have to be so much more.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They can't
Waiting.
manage. They
I'm waiting
can't
for
manage.
the marriage deal, like when you get married and they have to sign a prenup stuff. I'm waiting for that to get so ironclad, where it's like guys have everything put in there, like when they divorce, when they have kids, everything is there to where these girls like got nothing that they can do when they get divorced, you know. Especially if they do something stupid like cheat and sleep with their best friend or do some shit like that. That
Oh
these
well.
guys are just these girls just have nothing that they can get out of the guy. And then watch how many women actually get married when that's the case.
Well, I mean, one of my young
Let's see if you
pups.
marry for love then.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
one of my young pups sent me a video. Sony. They're developing this new. Um, it's not a contact lens, but a lens where you put it in your eye and you can record and take pictures. And I said,
I
I already
saw
saw
that.
it. I said to him, I saw this with a program called Black Mirror years ago, and you see how that happens. He's afraid of it. I said, this is a good thing. You can record every fucker. If they want to bring technology now, you can record every fucker. So when a woman wants to have sex with you, and you blink your eye and you record, listen, darling, I don't want to have sex with you, you know, blah, and she tries to rape you, and you record that stuff. Then when we get to the police station, well, I've got evidence. Bish bash bosh. She sleeps with her partner. Right. You know, play your iris scanner thing of the past 24 hours. Who have you been with? Who have you been with? Let's see who you've been with. Oh, there you go. Good. You know, and I'm loving what's happening at the moment, to be quite honest. I'm loving it so much.
Yeah,
I
they won't even know
love
they're
That's
being
why
recorded.
I've said to a lot of MGTOW, we should get into the technology industry, more specifically recording.
Yep.
Okay, any recording devices, make them as small as you can, as secretive as you can, so that way you're not only making a profit for yourself, but you're providing for the males in society to protect themselves.
Yes. I mean, did you guys listen to this conversation with what's his name? The BBC's thing Bob with Reggie Yates. Did you guys watch that? That
Yeah,
hit people.
I watched some of it on the internet. I seen it before.
Right. I mean, Reggie Yates, you know,
Total
he's not
douchebag.
he's not engaged to his fiance anymore. I wonder why.
Yeah,
I wonder why.
Big surprise.
Big
yeah.
fucking surprise. Mangina Reggie. You know,
You know how much
brilliant.
women love men to grovel at their feet. That's sexy, right?
About that.
Every
Man,
woman
okay,
wants a guy to grovel at their feet.
what they think is sexy is not, because I could tell you stories. They want a man to be dominating, but they want all the privileges at the same time. Sorry, not doing it. You can you can go fucking do my laundry.
Yep. Yep. Well, I like what this one guy said. I can't remember who it is that said it though. He said that women women aren't weren't evolved to do everything a man can do. They were evolved to do everything a man can't do. You know.
Yeah, which is we were made to complement each other.
Exactly.
Okay. The thing is, men are the most adaptable people on Earth. Okay.
Yeah.
Women are so set in their ways that they think everything's going to be hunky-dory and everything's going to be provided for them. No, men take the initiative, okay? Men are the ones that create things. We have ingenuity to make things easier on everyone. What would happen if you pissed off every single guy to where we just said, you know what? Do it yourself. We already know how to do it for ourselves. You do it now.
Yeah. 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 I don't think they realize like they're talking about like getting rid of men and like they don't need men and all this stuff. Yet they don't seem to realize much men have built in society. You know, how much, like, everything in society is built by men. Nothing that we have in society would even be here if it wasn't for men. Yet we don't have to even think about that because women are the only ones that matter. And now that it's all built, women can come in and say, "Oh yeah, but I want to take credit for it. And now we want the keys to the, you know, to the Mercedes now because it's already built." You know, and they never look at the fact that men are the ones building everything that they seem to think is like their stuff or something that they
You're
want
not
to take
downloading anything, are you?
No.
Yeah, cool.
Who's in the background there?
Richard.
No clue.
Oh, someone's mic is causing noises.
Yeah, it's
Oh, is
Richard.
it my turn?
Yeah, there's a lot of static going on behind you.
That's really weird, honestly. I'll look into that. Hold on.
Look, I went to see a female friend of mine. You know, I stopped talking to her for a couple of years because I just can't be there while she has a son. You know, she has a son. She's a single mother. You know, it wasn't. I mean, anyway, so I went to visit her.
In other words, 90% of the population.
Yeah,
Well, exactly. So I went to visit, and the thing about it is, you know, when the child was 3 or 4, she used to try to bring the child over to my place. She wanted me to, like, you know, show him. His father's there. She wants me to show him how to be a man. She wants him to be a guy like myself. And I said, listen, that's not my responsibility, number one. Number two, I can have him here for a week. But when he gets back to you, the lessons I've taught him will dissipate because you are the main factor. I mean, when it was 2 or something, he was having problems like peeing in the bed. So she wanted him or 2 or 3 to come over here, and he peed the bed. Isn't he all right? He can sleep on the laminated floor. Oh, that's abuse. I said, how is that abuse? He can't control his piping. I'm not going to have him in the spare room on the bed going to piss up the bed, and for me to, this makes no sense. So I said to her, that's reason number 1 why your son can't come and stay with me, because I understand how it is to be a boy. I once was a boy. I've seen all of these things. I've seen why boys need discipline. I see why boys need a good male role model. And when I went to see her the other day, same thing she said 2-3 years ago. He doesn't listen. He doesn't do this. And I said to her, you're not built for this life. You can't do it. She goes, how do you mean? I said, none of you women can do it. My mum or, you know, my grandparents, they did it. You see, you know, one woman raising 4 or 5 kids, not a peep, not complain. My mum never moaned to me, never. But my friend, all of these female friends, they even moaned. Another friend of mine, she's married, happily married with 2 sons. She tells me all the time, I don't know how single women do it. This is hard. She said she's struggling. But yet again, these women keep pretending. Stop pretending. Just be honest. Take stock of what's going on. And get with people that you can all assist each other and move forward. That's why all of these young boys are grown up and they're screwed up in all sorts of ways. Always hiding in their mother's skirts and not being able to, you know, disagree with another guy. I know a lot of young guys that are 21, 23 that I speak to. They can't even talk to me properly. They see me some sort of a threat to them. Oh, like, dude, you're a man, dude. Talk. Jesus. You know, it's funny. And yet again, these women who keep saying they can do it on their own. Well, we see that's not true. We can all see that's not true. You know?
Well, they think that because you're basically how they were raised by a single parent mom is like women are the end all be all to life, and if you're throwing things at them that show them that that's not the case, you're going to basically affect their chances of having sex with a woman. And they think that they have to simp and white knight and be a mangina for women so that they can get sex. And they don't want to stop doing that because they think if they stop doing that, they're never going to get laid again. And women don't seem to realize that that's like the worst kind of guy that you would ever want to be with. Why would you want to be with some guy that's acting like that just so that he can get laid? It doesn't make any sense.
I'm releasing another video on Wednesday with a conversation with a female talking about shit testing men. She says, oh yeah, all women shit test men. Then she admits that all of her friends were riding the cock carousel at college. Then, you know, have private conversations, all of these women. Oh, you know, I wish, you know, I was with you when I was younger. You know, I was going around doing this. You just laugh. You think, well, I mean, take responsibility. Who does this? Whatever man that's out there that is single, that gets involved with a woman with 2 or 3 kids, there's something psychologically wrong with that guy. There's something wrong there. There's something strange. You're trying to play daddy's daycare to another man's children. I mean, where's your self-respect to? Where's your self-respect? This woman had 2 or 3 kids by another man or multiple men, and yet you want to go and captain save that hoe. By definition, if the father of the children died, that's another issue. But yet again, you know, if a man wants to be a captain save a hoe or a captain save a hoe he doesn't know, I have no problem with that. Just don't come to me to try to explain about it.
If you're ready to dive in and save a hoe, you better be able to be committed to it by yourself, because no one else will sure help you.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sure
including the woman.
Yeah, the woman will help you. Every woman that I've ever been with that has had kids that she wanted me to step up and be a father figure to, as soon as I started to actually be a father figure to them, they would stop you. Because they were like, oh, you're being too hard on him, and
there you go.
shouldn't be like that, and you shouldn't do that. And I'm like, this is what it takes to raise a child, and the reason that they are how they are, and that they're so like awful, and they don't mind anybody, is because the way you're raising them. This I'm going to put you in the corner 1, 2, 3 bullshit. That doesn't work with boys. You know, if something's going on and a boy has a problem, you smack him upside the head and go, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's how boys learn, and women don't want to do that. And they've actually come up with their psychological theories that hitting children is wrong. Well, it's kind of funny that's came out since the 1960s and got more and more pervasive in our society. And before the 1960s, children actually respected their elders and shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
My question is, when fuck, my train of thought derailed. Fucking hell. The thing is, they come up with all these psychological theories. How are you going to create a psychological theory when you're a psycho yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Well, most of their psychological...
I mean, you are mentally well fucked and far from home. What makes you think you have the right to even try to think of a theory, much less implement it?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of these people come up with things that makes them feel good or fit their narrative, really. I mean, there was, I think, some studies done in Norway where they examined small children by placing them in a room and with different toys in them. Like, you'll have a truck on one side, a Barbie over there, some blue items over there, and they also found that like the girls tended to go for like stuffed animals and stuff like that consistently, and the boys went for the more mechanical things that were moving around, like a truck or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
that's
because we are more dexterity inclined to work with things. Men are human doing, not human beings. Okay, women are human beings because all they do is what? Sit down with their hand out, expecting things from men.
Yeah, the little girls were like consistently attracted to, for instance, baby dolls and stuff like that.
You know, so anything that gets their emotional imagination going, they'll go for, i.e., baby dolls, stuff like that. While men, we like the ingenuity factor. What can we make out of this?
Yeah.
It's a lot more cause and effect kind of thinking, rather
Mhm.
than what triggers someone emotionally, I think.
Well, we've tested this over and over in psychology, and every time it comes up the same thing. When you put a baby in a crib next to something mechanical, if it's a male baby, they're always going to be interested in it. They're watching it. They're trying to see what it is. If it's a girl, they're always going to look at the doll. When you put a doll up there and something mechanical, the boy is always watching the doll. They're always watching the mechanical thing, and the girl is always watching the doll. It's just how it is.
Yeah, find the documentary, but it was really funny because they really went out of their way to interview a lot of these genus people, and their ethnocentric studies and all whatnot, and they just wouldn't accept any kind of fact-based arguments at all.
That's because
Of course they're not, because they're emotionally driven. They're not logically driven.
It's all about their feels, It doesn't feel right to them to say those kind of things.
Any time I argue with a woman and she's like, I don't feel that, and well, it doesn't matter what you feel. Facts are facts. Facts don't fucking care about your feelings.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why it's never worth playing that game.
What game?
Arguing based on the feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they unfriend you, and then they wonder why nobody votes for Bernie Sanders, but because they are and all their friends are, and why he's not winning because they're fucking dipshits. Who's voting for Trump? Like, who? People.
I'll vote for myself. How about that?
You're allowed to do that. Technically, you are definitely allowed to do this. You're not going to win, but you're allowed to do it.
Yeah, I've just put up this trailer. No Men Beyond This Point. When everyone has 2 minutes, they should watch it, because I mean, people are just like, the thing about it is, Bernie Sanders, and all of these guys, the government, and all of this sort of stuff. What seems to make me laugh in 2016 is that people don't see that it's all a scam. This whole idea of feminism, it's all a scam. This whole idea of we can raise it, do it ourselves, is all a scam. When I tell a lot of guys, whatever a woman says, just take it with a pinch of salt. Don't get invested. Oh, no, but they're human beings. I keep saying it. You're pontificating over pussy. Drop it out, dude. It's not that smart. It's not that intelligent.
Go jack off those feelings first.
Yeah, for crying out loud now, Paul Joseph Watson, I mean, this thing that he did a few days ago. Women now, bravado, being proud of having STIs. It's like, what? This can't be real. But I'm sure some women, I'm not going to shave my armpits, I'm going to contract a sexually transmitted, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to lie that this guy raped me, even though I was in London and he was in New York and I've never met him. But yet again, I'm going to take him for all his worth. The article that Shi-Nu put up about these 2 21-year-olds or whatever, accusing the college of allowing them to be, sexually raped or not doing anything about it, even though the incident didn't happen on campus. And you think, what's going on? And this is what Bernie...
It happened off campus, and they never went to the police. Neither one of the girls got a rape kit done. And after the fact, like a week or two later, they went to the college security and told them that they were raped at a frat party, and that they asked them, did you do a police report? They said no. Did you do a rape kit? They said no. And they said, well, we can't help you. What do you expect us to do? It's a he said, she said. And well, I'm a woman, and that means my he said, she said is more important, that I'm supposed to be taken seriously because I said this guy raped me. So the whole case that they're bringing before the courts is actually them suing the college. But you'll notice when in the thing that I sent you, they never mention the guy that raped them in the case, because they don't have any case for that. They're just saying that they want to be taken seriously when they bring fake claims to the officials at the college. So they're making a push. Basically, these feminists are making a push that no matter if it's true or not true, every situation should be taken seriously. Yet the same foresight isn't given to a male. Like if a male comes into a place and says a woman raped me last night when I was drunk and I was asleep in my dorm room, then they're going to just laugh and say, "Oh, that's fucked up." They're not going to do anything. It only matters if it's a woman.
Well, I mean, and that's what I put in the comment there. I said, no talks of the guys that supposedly raped them. I mean, to the point where you're reading stories. I don't know if the media or these algorithms or bots are just taking a piss out of people. But when you see articles that a woman says that, she has a child for a guy, the guy ends up to be that the baby ends up to be a different color hue to the man. And she says, "Well, I didn't cheat on you. I'll tell you what happened. I must have been impregnated by the television, the character in the television." And you think to yourself, "What the fuck?"
And the baby comes out black.
Yeah, slipped on the banana peel.
You think, fuck, what's going on? And this is, I keep telling people, this is a different form of sorcery. This is some magic. And women, I'm doing a video now. I've done it already. It's called the Tinkerbell syndrome. It's beyond a joke now, where a lot of women can just say certain things, the negative thing that men have always done for time. Not all men, but it looks like it was all men. All men are bastards, blah blah blah. But yeah, all men are bastards. But then you're gonna go around bodying, having a dick count to say, well, I'm doing it because this is my liberation. It's liberating me from men. But wait a minute, you are laying down with men. That doesn't make any sense. But yet again, this is why I tell guys, I might be getting a bit, passionate here, but, I tell guys, don't take these women seriously. Don't take them seriously. If you're going to get involved with these women, you better be signing contracts. You better be getting it on video. You better be making her put, Facebook, whatever, post to say, yeah, I really want to have sex with this guy. He doesn't want me to fuck him, but I want him. Put him up Instagram posts. These are the sort of things you're going to have to do now if you want to participate with these women. Because it doesn't make any sense at all for me to get a knock at the door and it's police and say, oh well, when you were 15 years old, a couple of the women that that you had sex with, they're now saying you raped them. It's like, really? I mean, this is how crazy this shit is. That yet again, a lot of guys, it's not a negative thing. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. If it balances up, cool. If it doesn't balance up, no problem. We can do what we do best, and that's survive and do, great things.
That's what they want, though. They want to get it set up to where they can make claims that basically can't be proven. It's like, basically, if you didn't go to the police and you didn't get a rape kit done and you didn't go right away and say, this is what happened to me, and you didn't make any report to the police, but then you expect them to take you serious when you come in some cases, many, many years later, why should they? I just don't see how maybe yes, some women have a problem because they're, some guy raped them or something, and then they're, they feel like they can't go forward and they're scared or, whatever, how women get or whatever. I can understand it, and that in some cases that would be the case, but in a lot of cases that's not the case. In most cases that's not the case. A lot of these women will come out a year afterwards or even 2 years afterwards or after getting out of college, and they'll bring up that. They'll say, well, this guy raped me when I was in college. And then, all you have to say is in court, you have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. And in many cases, the guy that they say raped him wasn't even in that, college, or he wasn't even in the area at the time that she said she was getting raped. you know. And then they'll still say, well, yeah, but he raped me. It's like, well, you can't prove it, you know. And then they get all upset when they say, well, we're not going to really do anything with this case because it's bullshit.
The
I was in
burden of
another
proof does
hangout
rely on you.
where Ermine was being very misandric, and people were talking about Gamergate and how it was a movement, not a hashtag.
No, it was just
No.
hashtags.
I wasn't in there. I was just watching it, but I wanted to scream at somebody. It's like, what is it that the woman has to be saved? Why do men have to just be cannon fodder in every game? Like, anytime someone dies, it's a man, right?
Exactly.
That's like 99.9% of the time.
Yep. Well, 90. What is it? Like 98% of workplace deaths are men. You know.
Was it the suicide statistics? It's like generally 2/3 are men.
Well, I just talked about that last week. Actually, it's a lot higher than that.
Yeah, even
Male
higher.
male suicide rate is 5 times higher than female suicide rate.
See, married men are more willing to die.
Yeah. Well, it's actually been rising, and it's rose from the ages of 44 to 68, or 45 to 64, something like that. So basically, it's like the people who are committing suicide, the men who are committing suicide, are in the ages of them getting a divorce from their wife because she's going to leave him for some big black cocked guy, or he's just tired of paying child support. You know,
And in one of my videos, I go over one of the reasons why they do, and I go into detail. I don't fuck around. I don't sugarcoat it, but yet I offer a new perspective,
Yeah. Yeah, it's really sad that like these things aren't talked about in mainstream society, that people want to sugarcoat it and act like it's not a thing. You know, it's not happening. You know, and if a
It's
man's bringing it
happening.
up, then it can't be true if a man's bringing it up because men lie. You know, and women never lie.
As I keep telling you guys, I've got some more material of women admitting, 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 admitting. This is by look. A lot of the times, I've said this in private talks. I will decapitate an individual just to prove a point, to say, listen, this is how it is. Now, when you get a woman saying, and one of the recordings with a close friend of mine, she's married, she's got a son. On the recording that I'm going to bring out maybe in 2-3 months because I've got so much material, I said to her, even though you display or demonstrate traits that are very noble of you, do I trust you? And she says no. And I said, why? She goes, because I'm a woman. Perfect. Perfect. It's not a negative thing. It's just not, one of my friends that I interviewed recently, he was talking about, his ex-girlfriend wanted him to marry her, and she said to him, "Oh, when we get married, you've got to stop doing kung fu." And he said, "How? I love kung fu. It's my passion. It's my passion. So why would I marry you and stop doing my passions just to be with you?" And then he said, "I'll like it for a woman to have the same things as me. He knows how to cook, he knows how to clean, he knows how to do many things, same with a lot of us." And he said, "I wish these women can bring the same thing to the table, like loyalty." Women are not built to be loyal.
Nope.
This is a masculine thing. Now, a lot of men are now starting to copy the traits of disloyalty. This is problematic. But yet again, it's something that's happening, and people, more and more men, need to start seeing it. It doesn't mean that the world is over. It just means now you can play with a better set of cards in your hands. You see what's going to happen before it happens. You're in the matrix. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't, I don't know how it's gonna, how we're gonna be able to end it or end any of this stuff, but it seems like 2016 is really becoming a turning point so far. That a lot of stuff like these SJWs and stuff, a lot of them in colleges and other places like this are being like shut down, and they're kicking them out of places when they have like their deals where they're going to protest or things like that. They're telling them like you can't protest around the building. If they're in the place, they tell them before, if anybody jumps up and yells when the people are talking and doing their thing, we're going to have our security escort you out. So they're actually starting to get tired of them interrupting discussions, trying to throw things out like you're a racist, you're a homophobe, and things like this, and like they did with Milo Yiannopoulos, where they were saying that he was a racist homophobe when he's gay and he likes to sleep with black men. So they're just being completely retarded, and they just throw these buzzwords out that mean nothing, and they just think that's making a point, but it just makes them look stupider and stupider every time they do it. But it also interrupts the conversation to where people can't speak and have a dialogue with people that actually might want to hear what you have to say. So they're getting tired of it, and a lot of colleges are just telling them, look, if you don't stop doing this, not only are we going to kick you out, but we're going to kick you out of school. You're not going to be able to come here anymore. And a lot of these colleges are getting tired of these SJWs, and they're starting to do that. They're starting to tell them, like, when they're out protesting, they're out doing things. They're like, look, if you keep this up, we're going to kick you out of school. You're done. You're going to have to go to another college. Fuck off. And that's going to stop these kids. They're a lot of these. That's how we're going to get rid of this system. Is a lot of these people just need to step up and fuck the feminist SJW bullshit in college. A lot of the men that are in colleges are going to have to step up and say, look, this is bullshit. Get the fuck out, or stop doing your stupid childish bullshit. We don't have area. This isn't an area for safe spaces. This is a learning facility. If you want to learn something here and not throw out dogma, then we have a college. If you want to throw out a bunch of dogma and try to learn a bunch of bullshit in feminist studies and stuff, get the fuck out.
I think ultimately all this SJV bullshit is going to hurt the college's bottom line, and it's going to make them act.
There's I think it was Missouri State University. They said they had lost $26 million in donations, and their count was down in enrollment so much that they had to close 2 dorms. And the two dorms they closed were called Strength and Freedom, and they had to close those 2 dorms because they didn't have enough enrollment.
Yeah, so I mean that's something college to understand their business ultimately.
Yeah, this is what's going to happen if they continue to allow these feminist SJWs to not only run the school, but to try to teach our children. Boys don't want to go to these colleges anymore. A lot of boys aren't even in college anymore. They're going into college. They do auto body, welding, maybe computer science or something. They take a 2-year course. They get a degree, an associate's, and they get the fuck out and they go to work. And they don't want anything to do with a 4-year degree. So there's less and less guys going into college getting 4, 5, 8-year degrees, 12-year degrees. A lot of that stuff is women now, and they're taking a lot of fluff courses, getting PhDs in women's gender studies, which you can either teach at a college level or you can work at McDonald's flipping hamburgers. That's about all you can do with that degree.
Be a professional victim on Twitter or something.
Exactly. Yeah, you can be a professional debater, and you can debate things from a philosophical standpoint that don't even exist.
I can be a professional masturbator, and I don't even need a degree.
Well, the way I always told it to my students, and I got a lot of the feminists in my classes pissed off about it. The way I described philosophy to my students was very simple. I brought in a dog leash that you get from the state fairs in America, that is basically a wire, and it just has a dog collar, and a leash that looks like a dog is walking on it, but there's no dog. You know, it's like there's nothing there. It's just a collar, and you just make it look like you're walking an invisible dog. And then I would ask him, what kind of dog is on the leash? You know, and we would have a discussion, and we might go on for 30 minutes, and I'd ask him, what breed is the dog? What color is the dog? All these kind of things. And then I'd tell him in the end, this is what philosophy is. There's no dog. There never was a dog. Why are we talking about the dog that's not there? You know? And this is what feminism is. They're constantly talking about a dog that doesn't exist.
And this is why I said that they are AIDS.
Yeah.
No, AIDS isn't. It's a disease. It's not a person. It's an insult to AIDS.
If you were here before while I was explaining it, they are exactly like AIDS.
Okay. Well, I wasn't. All right. Oh, actually, I think I was.
Which is understandable. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I would
it's
say
fine and all, but like the AIDS virus, right?
Yeah.
Takes down the fundamental.
AIDS is not a virus.
Yeah, I know. We're doing retard terms today. Okay, so.
Yeah, women may be listening to this.
HIV, AIDS breaks down the fundamental building blocks of the immune system, allowing the body to be more prone to infection, diseases, so on and so forth, right? Okay, feminism breaks down the fundamental building blocks of society just to placate their safe spaces and their needs. Everything for them, they're being a parasite, i.e. AIDS. AIDS.
I'm watching a woman kill a goat. Oh wait, no, that's a man. Sorry.
Yeah, I would consider them a virus as well, because when you look at how a virus works, it spreads, and a virus starts from one particular point and then spreads out, and that's the same thing that's happening with feminism. It's now in every college. There's a gender studies program, and they're teaching more young girls that don't care and don't really know anything about it, that they're somehow a victim, and that somehow men are all trying to rape them and make them work for less money, and they're spreading this lie and this myth, and it's getting bigger and bigger, and more of these girls are going out and telling their friends about it that aren't in college, and it's becoming a bigger and bigger thing, and it's like a virus being spread. It's really sad to see what we've come to now in society, you know, that this is where we're at. You know, here we are. I just looked at a deal that a friend sent me on Facebook about them getting really beautiful pictures back from Mars, from the rover that's over there. And I was looking at those pictures, and then here we are fighting wars in foreign countries over religion. People are being killed for religion, and then we're talking tonight about women that want to basically make men slaves. You know, and we've got pictures of Mars, and we're still talking about these things, and it makes no sense. It makes no logical sense that this is where we are right now in 2016.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, it's a really backwards movement, poisoning society from within. That's kind of sad we spend so much energy on it, while there's so many other awesome things to do.
Yeah. Well, like, look at the humans have accomplished so much that a man landed a rover on a moving asteroid. A man landed a rover on a moving asteroid, and the only thing that could be said from women, was that he was wearing a shirt that had scantily clad women on it, and that was a problem. And he was the first human in history to land a rover on an asteroid and send back pictures. And
I
instead
would
of
have told her to
focusing,
lick my fucking asshole.
instead of focusing on the amazing accomplishment of the human to do something so incredible, we worried about what his shirt looked like. That just tells you why women aren't in STEM fields, because that's how far their mind can roll. You know, who cares what his shirt? I wouldn't have cared if he came out completely naked. He has the right to come out completely naked. The dude landed a fucking rover on a fucking asteroid and sent pictures back of it. You know, he can fucking come out naked swinging his dick around. I don't care. I'm proud of it.
Exactly.
You know, who cares what he was wearing? You know, but that's all that women care about. And then they're like, women aren't in STEM fields. Well, I hope not. If you're in a STEM field, and that's the kind of thing you're going to talk about.
You're just proving yourselves to be fucking retards.
Yeah. It's completely asinine, some of the shit these women talk about.
Well, it does go to show how so many women have so little to bring to the table, really, at the end of today.
Well, that's what
all
really
they can
pisses
say.
them off. I think that's the thing that pisses them off the most, is they're always trying to say, you know, our breasts aren't us and we aren't our bodies and all this kind of bullshit. That's all they have, and they hate that.
That's all you have, and it's not even enticing to a lot of guys anymore. So what the fuck do you have to offer now?
It's not even enough. It's not even enough. I think I told this story before. I was with this girl, you know, this posh bird. She wasn't really posh, her family was, but then, you know, I was saying, you know, I got involved with, you know, the love of my life years ago. And I said the reason why I even got involved with her or stayed the time that I did is because when she gave me a blowjob, you know, and I came in her mouth, and she drank the secret fluid. And this girl said to me, "Oh my fucking God, you men are so simple. All you want a woman to do is drain your balls and have sex with it, and that's it." And I said, "Exactly. And you still can't do that correctly. You should have seen the look in his face."
Exactly.
Look at her face. You can't even do the basics. And you're talking about university. You're not even out of kindergarten. I mean, this is...
You know what really gets me, though, is how women claim that they're freaky, yet they can't even handle a statement such as, "Well, I'm about to rename you Tongs because you're about to toss my fucking salad."
Yeah. Well,
and they freak out.
Do you remember the conversation that we were having with Hermine, where she was talking about...
Man, don't get me started. I mean, I didn't even spend any energy to drop her like a bag of bricks.
This is the thing. I learned something in another hangout about her that made me realize that she is so oblivious to the truth. Because she was telling us in the hangout that we were in that she was awesome in bed and she's never had any problems and all the guys have never told her anything. Well, then I got into another hangout. I got into another hangout, and she said that she doesn't sleep. She's a Christian or something, so she doesn't believe in sleeping with guys right away. And she said that the last guy that she was with, she made him wait 4 years to have sex.
Wow.
And that a guy before that didn't even give him a hand job after 2 years. So, and she's an older woman. She's married, or she was married. She had kids, or she's never been married. She has kids though. And obviously, judging by what she said in her line of people that she's been with, she's probably only been with about 4 or 5 guys in her life because she's making them wait so long. And then she's saying that we were saying like, well, what if they were out having sex with other people? And she said, well, that's fine. I don't care because we are just friends. We're not. And I'm like, so there's this guy that wants to date you, that you're making him tag off of you for 4 years. Then you finally have sex with him, and you're not mad that the 4 years that you were dating him, that you guys were just friends, he was fucking other people because you didn't want to fuck him. And then now you think after him waiting 4 years to get into your pussy, he's gonna have the audacity to say you weren't good in bed? You know? It's like, of course he's
better
not
be the fucking best if you're making him wait 4 years. God damn it!
Yeah, you're so good at cock at playing with his cock and sucking dick and all this kind of stuff that she said she was good at. You're so good at it that you only get practice once every 4 years?
Man, I didn't even spend any energy shutting her down.
Yeah, that just tells me that everything that she said, she's living in a fucking world that's oblivious to the fucking reality. She does it. That's how a lot of women are. She's in this little hole where she thinks she's so good at bed.
Please.
So good at talk. She's so good at sex. She's just
ego set her up, and I just knocked her down. I was just like, I'm gonna smack your ass with some truth.
You Dr. Malone.
Yeah, I wish I would have been on this hangout before she came to our hangout, because we could have fucking ripped her we could have had her leaving quick.
You're the one that invited her.
I know I invited her, but I didn't realize that any of that stuff until 2.5 weeks later.
Oh, Shi-Nu.
Oh, we didn't even have to talk to each other in private message to set that shit up.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that is that, you know, I said this to Optimus. I said, look, Shi-Nu was trying to make Optimus assassinate an innocent. She was a civilian. When she started talking, we saw her in the talk.
Sorry, you're not gonna bring a .357 revolver to a SWAT team that has M16s, okay? Not gonna work.
You're not. So that's what I said to Optimus. I said, really, there was no need to body this woman. She doesn't know what's really happening. You can't go. I mean, when she said that men, she didn't know that men used to fake orgasms, I said, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? You are no longer worth my time and energy, so let me lay down some logic on you, and then you can be on your way. And then how did she understatement? Oh, that's my man calling me. I need to go.
Dead. You know,
and then not 30 minutes before she said she was single.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's got some guy that she's engaged to. Actually, she says, and you know that's what I mean though. She's saying that she's you know so good in bed. She's so this is where a lot of women don't get it. They think that just because they have a wet pussy between their legs, that means they're great at sex because every guy wants it. Well, just because every guy wants to fuck you doesn't mean you're good in bed.
And that's why I said to you that day, Shi-Nu, I said, I do not make a woman believe that I had an orgasm when I didn't. I tell a woman, listen, fix the bed and get the hell out. I've done it many times. I said, listen, this was below par. I don't want to talk to you. That's the bed. Fix it and get the hell out. There's no more discussions because this is a lie. I was tricked at the age 16 by an 18-year-old. She told me she'll do this, she'll do that, and after my greatness, she was rubbish. She was talking about she wanted a relationship. I said, hell no. Get out of my house and be gone with you. And that's how it should be.
Yeah. Men
should stop propping these women up. It's causing problems. I always tell these women, if your vagina was so good, why didn't he marry you? Why hasn't he bought you a house? Why hasn't he bought you a villa? Why hasn't he done that? How comes that?
Why aren't you making him fucking breakfast in bed?
Yes. You know, it makes no sense. A woman tells you you're the best thing since sliced bread. Then she's trying to get into an argument with you. She's meant to pay for your trip to go on holiday. She tells you she hasn't got the money. It doesn't make sense. If I'm a god amongst men, you should get on your knees and kiss the ground I walk on to show your respect. It's simple. If I like a certain food or a certain dish or a certain jacket, I'll keep these things, my jacket or my shoe, in pristine condition because I like it. I don't treat it like a vagabond. It makes no sense. But I know dealing with most women, they don't make any sense, so I understand the trajectory. And this is what a lot of guys have got to suss out. When a woman says to you, she can do this, she can do that, ask her for a reference, ask her for referrals. Give me the number of your ex-boyfriend or a few
But you
guys.
better have a resume.
You better have a resume. You better bring one. I mean, that's how it should be. Have a resume. A resume.
That's what's going to need to happen, and I think that's the one thing that would knock them down a peg, is if a lot of women started to realize that every guy does want to have sex with you, but once they've had sex with you, a lot of guys will wish they didn't. And a lot of girls need to realize that just because you have a wet pussy and guys want to fuck you doesn't mean that once they fucked you, they won't want to do it again. You know, a lot of guys were like, "That was fucking awful. I don't want anything to do with that." And a lot of guys need to be like as soon as they pull down their pants and it fucking smells like fish, guys need to be like, "Nah, I don't want anything to do with that." Sorry.
Well, you think that some of these women will understand that because of the degrees that they hold. You hold a PhD, you hold this degree, and yet you can't see the correlation that just because banged you doesn't mean that you're great in bed. Just because you have a vagina doesn't mean that this guy wants to marry you, and so on and so forth. But yeah, but you know, Shi-Nu, a lot of these guys, you know how I am. I don't give them a pass. They're co-conspirators. If a woman is getting something, just tell her you're not that good, love. You're not that good. There's nothing bad in it.
Well, that? Did you see that deal the other day of that guy, that basketball player?
What guy was that then?
There's a guy in a Maryland basketball team that slept with this 19-year-old girl, and she said that he came in her hair and hurt her pussy, and she let him fuck her without a condom, and then she was Snapchatting while he was there, and she said she put on in one of her Snapchats like, this is what happens when you've had sex and you're done and the guy's still sitting here. And then she put like, I hope you don't stay in college for another 2 years because I need to get paid. And she's hoping that he goes into the NBA and stuff so that she can get it. And she's saying all this shit on while he's sitting there on the couch on his phone, and they just had sex.
Good. You guys are wallet.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
You guys are wallet.
Yeah. And this girl was the self-proclaimed queen of nudes on Instagram, Snapchat, and some other website like Facebook or something. She was the self-proclaimed queen of nudes. That's what she called herself. And her name was like Rosanna or Ranya, Renya or something.
Reina.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. It was complete. I was reading this stuff and I was like, I couldn't believe this shit. But this is what men have to deal with nowadays.
No, men, they don't have to deal with it. They're the ones doing it. Come on, Shi-Nu, like these
They're the
guys.
ones boosting their egos, saying that they're all great
men
and all
out there
that.
that don't think at all.
Huh? Someone
There's
say
a lot
something.
of thirsty men out there that don't seem to think at all.
Of course not.
Yep, they don't care. They just want to get laid, and even if it's a bad lay, they don't care. They just want to get laid.
Yeah, but Shi-Nu, what does it say? What does it say about a man that he'll put himself through this? What does that say? You know, she sucked everyone off on the football team, yet you're lining up. What's the matter with you?
The matter is that they just. I think men just want to. They just want to feel like they've had that woman as a reputational thing. I mean, I'm not
like
defending
a trophy.
women.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
just like a
validation then.
Yeah, it's validation, and the men don't value themselves as much as they should. Because no woman's gonna be like, okay, I really need to work to get this man to fuck me, because that's so important to me right now to get fucked by this woman, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I agree with what you're saying, and that's my point exactly. These guys, I mean, for crying out loud, don't go for a dirtbag whore. Your first option shouldn't be a crackhead whore. That shouldn't even be in your mind. Jesus. And what does that mean? You know, and even if you're in the queue, you're number 15. I mean, come on. If you're a top boy, get to number 1. If you really want to, be in this queue with this dirtbag whore, I mean, knock out number 1 and you replace it. Okay, we can say at least you worked hard. I mean, whatever. I don't support that. But I mean, this is problematic. Don't get involved with these women. None of them. Some of the most beautiful women that I've ever been with. and even some that haven't, they're the most mentally fucked up individuals. And I wouldn't stay a minute longer to be in their company because I know that it's fleeting. It's just a look. She looks nice. She looks gorgeous. That's just about it. And that's, you know, that's all she's got. She just looks good. That's it. You can't conversate with her. She's not really that great in bed. She can't do shit. She doesn't bring any.
So that's why I bring up the whole. I love the sound you make when you shut the hell up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing there. But guys, I've got a skedaddle.
Okay.
Hopefully we can do it again next week. Have a great one. It's been an awesome talk, and yeah, fantastic.
Fantastic.
See you later.
Toodaloo.
Take care, mate.
I'm here to kill some red people. Are we still on live?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we were talking about. I put it all in the side chat, but we were talking about male circumcision.
Oh wow, I didn't hear the circumcision part. I just heard about like misogyny and shit.
Yeah, we were talking about. TYT put out a video today talking about how teen girls are starting to get their vagina lips chopped off so that they don't look like they have meat curtains, and this is becoming a problem. Yet they didn't say
Her body, her choice.
Yeah, they didn't even say one thing about the fact that these are teen girls that made the choice themselves to try to make themselves look sexier to men, whereas when little boys have their foreskins cut, they're doing this so that later on in life these boys will look good to their wives and girlfriends, and they don't have any choice in the matter. They're doing this because their father thinks that this is something that they have to do to their kids so that their girlfriends and wives in the future will be attracted to them, because men know that most girls don't like guys that aren't circumcised. And they try to tell themselves, they try to make it seem like it's not a big deal by saying, yeah, but men are, you know, that's cleaner. It's cleaner and it's more hygienic if they have their dicks chopped off. So they don't even think about, like, even if they're, you know, atheists, they're still going to do this to their children. And it's not a problem because they're doing it for women.
I know, like, no woman would be like, okay, well, look, I'm gonna just chop off a bit of your vagina because it looks good.
Yeah, exactly. If they were doing that to children that were girls, it wouldn't be allowed. There would be an outrage, and it damn sure wouldn't have been going on for 60 years, 70 years, you know. This basically started in the United States, partly due to feminists, the second wave and first wave feminists getting together, and they were Christians, and they petitioned the government and a few other people saying that chopping off the foreskins of boys makes them less likely to masturbate.
Oh yeah, because it hurts.
Yeah, it pretty much removes any good thing about
removes
masturbation.
any of the feeling. It removes any of the feeling, basically. You end up with, like, not having a lot of feeling down there. So by doing that, they first said it was for that, because masturbating was bad for, like, if you were a Christian. But then secondly, they tried to justify it later by saying it was more hygienic. Yet there's nothing to back that up. It's only more hygienic if you live in a country where you only take a shower once every 2 weeks. If you live in a country where you take a shower every day or every other day, there's no difference. You're still going to be just as clean as anyone else.
Yeah.
But the fact is that most women don't like the way it looks. Most women just don't like the way an uncircumcised penis looks. And that's what it's really about. And it's also about what I put in the sidebar there. There's actually, with one foreskin, they get the cells out of that. And you can make as much as $100,000 selling that foreskin to face cream companies that put out face creams that they're very high dollar face creams that cost like $250 to $300 for a small bottle. and women put that on their face to make them look like they haven't hit the wall. And this is what they're doing. They're actually chopping off babies' penises and using them to try to make themselves look like they haven't hit the wall. Two of the things in there is talking about Oprah Winfrey. She uses a face cream that has male penises in it.
And like I said, yeah, she likes that with the whole men on her face thing.
Yeah. Well, it's just like they're always talking about how evil and horrible men are. Well, how gross and sadistic is it to walk around with stuff on your face that was made from male genitalia? Babies, for Christ's sake. They're walking around with things that were made from babies' penises. And that's not disgusting? That's not insane?
That's insane. Fuck them. Glad I wasn't circumcised.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of us don't have the choice. Our fathers make the choice for us because, or our mothers in some cases, like the father's not even there and the mother's the only one there. The mother makes the choice because she knows in the future women are going to enjoy you or like you more if you have a circumcised penis. So they'll do it for the gratification and sexual pleasure and for a woman later, which is the most pernicious form of a matriarchy and misandry that you can point out to. And no feminists even care about it. When you bring it up to feminists, they just scoff at it. It's not a problem. It's boys. It's boys.
Well, it's not just a lot of
boys.
Boys also die because they've had like bad circumcisions as well, right?
176 children a year die from circumcisions.
Well, isn't it also like the picture you had for the clip? It's also like a Jewish tradition, right? To kind of bite off the skin or some shit like that.
Yeah, they suck it off. And
yeah, suck it off.
Because they're doing that, there's actually a really bad rate of genital what is it? One of the venereal diseases. There's like 1 or 2 venereal diseases that have been transmitted to babies from these priests from doing this, and it's like God, I forget what it is. It's not like it's not syphilis, but it's something like that, and I forget what it is. But basically, it's because these priests that are doing this stuff are nasty fuckers anyways, and they're gonna suck off a baby's fucking thing, and they say that it's because the human mouth is an antiseptic. That's what they try to say, when really it's just they're fucking freaky and they just want to suck on a baby's penis, which brings us around from feminism to fucking religion, where they're fucking crazy, both of them equally. The only way you can justify something like that going on is if it has to do with religion. There's no other place where a doctor could like chop off the foreskin of your baby and then suck it off and have you go like, oh, it's not a big deal. The doctors just do that. The only way you could get away with doing something like that is if you say, oh, well, it's a Jewish tradition. Then they go, oh, okay, it's fine that he sucked on my baby's dick.
Yeah, but it's pretty sick, right, when you think about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like logic is like, it doesn't exist in this
person's mouth and stuff.
Yeah, the human mouth is like an open cesspool. It's like there's so much bacteria in there. Like billions of different bacterias, and then you're going to go suck on a baby's dick, you know, when you just chopped his dick off, you know, it's like, what the fuck? People are such idiots. And then they try to justify it by saying it's a religious tradition, you know? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is.
And these kind of things, this is the thing that I don't understand that feminists never talk about. These things are only done to men, to boys. And that's never brought up. You know? Like I was talking about earlier on another one of my videos. Why do they never talk about female to male transition people going into male restrooms? When was the last story you heard on the TV of police standing outside of male restrooms and not allowing transgender female to males to go into a male restroom? You'll never hear that because that's not the problem. Females aren't creepy. You know, females to male that have transitioned into boys, they're not creepy. The ones that are creepy are the boys that want to be female, because that's just creepy. Why would a man want to be a woman? It's all right for a woman to be a man. It's all right for a woman to go into a male section in a store and buy male clothing. That's perfectly fine. That's normal. But for a man to go into a female section and buy female clothes, that's just creepy and gross. You know? Nobody ever brings those things up. Nobody ever cares about that kind of shit, that we never hear anything about females going into male restrooms. You know, because that's not a problem.
Well, it's the same way.
Females just can't be creepy.
Circumcision has never ever been hasn't really been seen as a problem here either until it was about females.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, they're always talking about that, and they try to bring up the fact that it's like, you know, Muslim religions and stuff like this that are doing it. Most of the countries in Africa that do it are actually Christian. The ones that are actually doing the female circumcision, the female genital mutilation circumcisions on females when they're like 13 or something. Those are actually Christian.
There's a lot of like tribal kind of cultural influence in Africa, where it's seen as a good thing.
Yeah.
It's basically the same for a lot of the places where they do it, where it's Muslim people as well.
Yeah. I'm hoping that soon in the future this will become a thing, but like I say, this is predicated by the fact that the medical industry is getting paid by these companies to give them foreskins. And they're also, you know, they have the companies that are making these products that are using foreskins. So it's going to be hard to get rid of it, even if we wanted to, because they're going to try to tell the parents that they have to, because it's going to be more like detrimental to the children, you know. So you got to save the children, so you got to do it. And they're going to say that only because they're trying to make money. It's not about your child's health or your son's well-being or his life or his sex life or anything like that. It's about them making some money off of that foreskin. And that's what they want. You know? Oprah needs her face cream, goddammit.
Well, not our fault no one wants to jizz on her face.
How do they use it? Is it just like some research purpose thing, or they actually ground it up and slap it in the cream?
No, yeah, they actually do. It's actually, they use cells. They use cells from it, and the cells, because they're coming from a baby, because of the cells, it's like the stem cell stuff.
Yeah, stem
cells. When you put it on your face, it's supposed to make your face more elastic. It gets rid of wrinkles, things like that. So when you look at these high-dollar wrinkle creams that come out of really high-dollar companies like, you know, Gucci and all these kind of companies, those are the ones that are using these products. And that's why I say it, one foreskin, they can get enough cells out of the one foreskin to make $100,000 worth of face creams. And this is the stuff that people will use. In some cases, these face creams cost like $5,000. you know, and only like really richy people are buying these things. So they're taking foreskins from babies to make these women feel like they're younger, so they can look like they didn't hit the wall. It's sad.
Yeah, I wonder if there would be any kind of grand reactions to it if there was actually like some huge paper published, a paper, article about it or something like that.
It needs to happen. I'm sure it actually has happened.
Yeah,
that's where I
sure a lot of people would react.
Yeah, I found out about it from other people doing papers like that. But
yeah,
the thing is like nobody seems to care. You know, nobody cares because, like I say, it's about boys.
Know what actually goes into their facial creams.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they really care because, like, if a woman uses a face cream and it actually makes her wrinkles go away and makes her look younger, they don't care what's in it. It could be bull penis. They don't care. You know,
a lot of people aren't really interested in the truth.
Yeah, they don't care if it's Aboriginal spit. If it makes their face look like nice and makes them look younger, and they're 50 years old, but they look like they're in their 30s, they don't care what's in it. They're going to want that because it's going to make them sexually viable longer.
Yeah, keep that worth they have going a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's all that matters to most women. They want to try to keep in the bar. They want to keep on the bar as long as they can, so they can use men for as long as they can. That's where women get the most bitter, is when they hit the wall and men stop wanting to sleep with them because they got fat and old and ugly, and no guys want to fuck them anymore. And now all of a sudden, that's when they become bitter, and all men are assholes, and all men are gross, and all men are fucked up. And they start saying shit like that. And then they write books.
And in the moment that some guy shows interest in them, they latch on to them because it's their last fucking chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's they don't have any other marketable skills, a lot of women, so, I mean, that's their only way.
Yep. Well, they'll write books and then they talk about it in the gender studies programs. And these girls that are writing these books, these women, are like in their 60s or 70s. They write these books about how awful men are, how there's a patriarchy, how there's all this stuff going on, and then you'll get little 20-year-old girls that read this stuff and take it in and act like it's real. And really all it is just some vindictive old bitch that nobody wants to fuck with anymore because she's a feminist and she thinks all guys are horrible because nobody wants to fuck her anymore. You know? And that's what it really is, you know? And women don't want to think about that. They want to think, well, these women have our best interest in hand. And they don't.
It's like fat chicks that want to think that there's nothing wrong with being a fat chick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's like obese level going to kill you. Nope, no problem here.
Who's breathing so hard?
Not me. Might be Optimus, I think. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, the microphone's sensitive, so it might catch up on that. I moved it. Shouldn't have that from anymore.
Oh, there's two Shi-Nus now. Supposed to disconnect.
That was weird. My Firefox died and then came back.
Yeah, Hangouts is a bit weird sometimes, and Firefox can be a bit crash prone.
Yeah.
At least in my experience.
Yeah, I think it's becoming that way. I think they're almost doing that on purpose because so many people are doing Hangouts now on their pages and stuff. They're trying to make it harder for people to do cool Hangouts.
I don't think that's quite a conspiracy theory. I don't think that's true. Aww. My
I
Far
mean,
Cry
more
4 just
hangouts
stopped
means
working.
more content for YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I think it's just, the hardware is not catching up or something. That's all. Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing
I'm
like
sure like hangouts drive a lot of bandwidth sometimes.
Yeah.
Fucking women. They're always smiling and shit, especially when like men are suffering. It's very subtle. It's like, oh, this guy's getting insulted. It's funny for me. I'm like, and when something happens to them, they're like, oh no, social justice. Somebody help
Yeah,
us.
exactly. Yeah.
Hey, you don't care
But
about our
still,
issue. You're full of shit. They're always like, oh well, this injustice done to a man, circumcision, false rape accusation. It's like it's okay because women have been oppressed for so long, and that makes it fine.
yeah, it makes it fine to oppress men. We can go ahead and oppress men until they've been oppressed for as long as women have been oppressed. Is what they act like.
Which is still forever because
Yeah.
that's just there's no end to it.
Yeah, because women are still being oppressed, so let's just oppress men for the rest of their like existence on the planet, just to make up for the fact that they think that they've been oppressed, which they haven't. Women have never been oppressed, and they're just like, oh, we've been oppressed because we had to take care of the children and raise the children like we've done for 100,000 years, and we've always done that, and that's just the way human society has always been. But we want to fight against that and make it like that's not the case, that women have been the caregivers and men have been the providers. That's how it's always been. That's how we've evolved to be. And women want to be like, no, that's not the case.
Well, then you can do things on your own then. Fuck you.
Exactly. You can't fight human
grab the spear
evolution.
and go kill the buffalo.
Yep.
Yeah. You can't fight human evolution. That's what a lot of these feminists want to do. They want to act like it's perfectly fine for me to want you to do something like fat women, and like fat women that have hairy pussies that look like a yeti, and armpit hair and leg hair. You're not allowed to think those women aren't sexy. Because how dare you think a woman is not sexy?
I'm sorry, but
you're not
gonna tell me what I can and can't think of. Like, that's not going to happen. I will murder you before that happens.
That's what a lot of these women are doing. They want to tell men what they want to shame you into thinking all women are equally sexy, no matter what race, no matter what color, no matter how big or skinny. It doesn't matter if you look like that Trilly Puff girl. You're still supposed to think she's just as hot as Beyonce. Even if she looks like a whale, even if she looks like a beach ball with feet. You're supposed to still think she's just as sexy as Beyonce or anyone else, and that's just unrealistic. There's some people that are going to think she looks cute, and there's some people that are going to think she looks like a shit. I think she looks like shit. A lot of guys think she looks like shit, and you're not going to change us by shaming us and trying to make us say that she looks like nice.
Damn.
Somebody is snoring.
That's some serious breathing right there.
Who? Can't be me.
Somebody,
I've already adjusted my mic.
yeah, somebody was
Right.
snoring.
I don't think it was me there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure actually who it was.
Sounded like somebody was snoring. Yeah. Yeah, I just think it needs to be talked about more and more. And we need to flood the internet with stuff talking about this kind of stuff so that it's out there and more men see it, because I think more boys need to see this kind of stuff so that they don't get caught up in this kind of bullshit that we're
Yeah, they
seeing.
need to know what to kind of look out for. There's a lot of pitfalls out there that they're pretty much being steered towards.
Yeah, by society and female teachers. They're telling them that it's not a pitfall, it's actually how it's supposed to be. and you should just follow along with everyone else because that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, and nobody's telling guys that like, no.
It kind of reminds me of something I read the other day in the news, or I mean, not in the mainstream news where I live, but anyway, there was a bill done by the environmentalist party in Sweden, and it was actually about introducing, genus studies into grade school.
Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I literally didn't hear that last part.
Oh, okay. It was about introducing genus studies to grade school.
Yeah, the gender.
Genus? You mean like Animal Kingdom type genus? Oh man, I'm so sorry.
You mean gender studies?
Yeah, gender studies. Yeah, I kind of mixed up the word there. Sorry.
Or feminazis.
Yeah, they wanna bring in gender studies into the children's minds at a very young age in Sweden, because we know how wonderful Sweden is.
I mean, it's kind of been going on for a while. I mean, there's
Sweden
also a kind of gender-neutral term now that some people have been trying to push for some years. Instead of saying him or her, there should be a gender-neutral term.
It.
Yeah, kind of.
Well,
in Sweden, it's,
if you don't want to identify as a him or her, then it.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, a lot of them are wanting to be called they, and they're so stupid that they don't realize that the very fact that you're calling yourself they means that that's a plural, and you're not able to call yourself a plural. Sorry.
Well, how many personalities do you have? I wouldn't be surprised.
Exactly. If you're a singular person, you're not able to call yourself they. It would be them, but that would be somebody else. Like if somebody else was talking to you, they would say them. You know, but even that them is not it's a plural. It means several things, not a person. It's not a singular person. But it can be used to say them. But when you say they, it's not like a singular person. It's many people. You know. So that's what they're trying to get people to do, is actually use a word that means plural, and they're using it as a singular, but they don't care that it doesn't make any sense. I'm hoping that video that I just did goes viral or something, because I put it on the TYT video, and it's only been up for 3 hours, but it's already got 128 views. So, and then I put that picture of the priest that I got on my picture now, of him sucking on the baby penis. So hopefully that's enough clickbait to get people to click on it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a red flag.
Yeah. They'll click on that and see that, and then they'll also realize that like once they click on it, I'm in my transgender garb. So then there's a transgender talking about male circumcision, and so it's like multi-clickbait. So hopefully it'll go on there. And I was talking in the comment section of the video, and I put my video in the comment section with all the people that was talking to me about male circumcision and all this stuff. So hopefully I'll get a bunch of people off of the TYT network that comes to my channel to watch that video, and then they'll see other videos that I've done as well. It just makes them really hard for them to like fuck with me, when they realize like I'm transgender, because I have a lot of stuff that makes it like where I'm not somebody they can fuck with. I'm not a white male cis, all that kind of stuff. I'm actually transgender. I'm a lesbian. I'm Asian. My mother was Japanese. I'm living in Japan, so I don't live in America. You know, I have a PhD. I have a master's degree, so I went to college, so I'm educated. So I have a lot of stuff that they have to really think really hard to come at me. And usually what
Shi-Nu,
it is,
you're boggling my mind with your non-gender stereotypes. Stop it.
exactly. They just start like throwing out like you're dumb or you're idiot or you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, you know,
Really? Well, let me check my cards.
Yeah, it's like citation needed. You know, it's like why don't you give me a citation and a full dissertation on why you think that is, and I'll get back to you with my analysis of it. So it's like you're an idiot, you know.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I found a copy of the bill here that I was talking about earlier, and it's about for age 7, they want that stuff for kids age 7.
Wow. You got to get them young, you know. You got to
Yeah,
indoctrinate
exactly.
them into
I mean,
feminism.
there's been some like special daycares in Sweden where they're only supposed to use like gender neutral terms for like everything. Like if there's a book, there has to be like gender neutral characters in it.
Yes.
Well, those are like special ones. Like parents explicitly have to send their kids to such a place, but yeah, still.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't believe it, man. Can't believe the way we're trying to like I I personally feel because I have my master's degree in psychology and stuff. I personally feel that it's
Yeah.
close to like child abuse doing this kind of stuff to try to indoctrinate your kids into these lies. This is child abuse, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
And
definitely child abuse.
they'll say, "Well, I can raise my kids any way I want to raise my kids, like indoctrinating them into some religion or something like that." And I would say, "You're right. You can raise your kids however you want to raise your kids. The problem is that you're teaching at a school and you're trying to raise my kids any way you want to." And that's where it stops. That's where you can't raise my kids any way you want to because they're my kids, and now I have a say in it.
Let's see if I can maybe post this in the Google Plus. Maybe, probably Google Translate can translate some of it if people are interested. See the madness, you know.
Yeah. So, go ahead and shut it down.